Oh God, it's backing up. I'm in the Walmart parking lot getting ready to go in to do some shopping, and I'm sitting here in the parking spot and this pickup truck just comes past me, has the window down, and all of a sudden I hear this guy yelling, "You're gonna hit that freaking car." And bro, I feel you, because, you know, teaching a teenager to drive is rough work sometimes. Anyway, that's not the reason that we're here today. The reason I'm bringing this video to you today is that we're gonna go into Walmart and shop for 3 dinners for this week. And my goal is to buy all of the ingredients for these 3 dinners for under $30. So I have some things planned out. Let's see if we can get it done. All right, we need 16-ounce container of sour cream. This is $1.97. They just started carrying these at my Walmart, the 6-pack carton of eggs. They didn't used to have these. Still pretty pricey, $1.58 for 6, but then you can get the, actually I don't even know, they don't even have a price on the dozen eggs, so I'm not sure how much those are. Oh, they're $2.96. Wow, that's really come down in price. I'm not gonna get any eggs today though. I do need some cheese. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the 8 ounces of the extra sharp cheddar for $1.97. These are a favorite in budget cooking for me, these Great Value ham steaks. You get 2 of them, almost a pound of ham for just $3.48. We're gonna get a package of the Johnsonville Farms Andouille sausage, $3.47. So at Walmart, you can get their chilled rotisserie chickens for $3.97. If you buy them hot, they're like $2 more, but we're gonna turn this into a delicious soup for this week, a lemon chicken orzo soup. One of the best values in the grocery store is the Jiffy corn muffin mix, 67 cents. And we're also gonna pick up a box of this buttermilk biscuit mix. This one is 93 cents. The La Moderna pasta is such a great deal. It's only 50 cents. So we're gonna use this for the soup, and you get 7 ounces of pasta. All right, we need a bag of hash browns, 2 pounds of basically frozen potatoes for $3.42. I love this Zatarain's mix for a quick cheap meal. It's like $2.67, and all you have to do is add meat. I need a can of cream of chicken soup. Now, you can totally buy the generic, like the Walmart brand of cream of chicken soup. The Campbell's one is $1.26. I just think that it tastes so much better than the generic version, but it's up to you. Okay, carrots. So 1 pound of like regular carrots is $1.26. The baby carrots are actually cheaper at $1.07. All right, we're gonna get some frozen peas. These are one of my favorite buys at Walmart for budget meals, are these packs of frozen veggies, 98 cents. We're gonna grab 2 of these cucumbers for 78 cents each. And then we're gonna get 1 green pepper and an onion. All right, so I'm home from the store, and here's everything that I got. I did spend a little bit over $30 because there was one item on my list that wasn't available, so I kind of had to make a substitution, but $30.26 for 3 meals, and each of these meals, obviously I have to cook them yet, but I'm gonna estimate that each of these meals is gonna feed 5 people. So a pretty good deal there. I got the Zatarain's red beans and rice. This is gonna go with the sausage and the green pepper and a little bit of the onion. So we're gonna make that red beans and rice. And then I'm gonna serve that with the cornbread, and we're gonna make some cucumber salad. We're also gonna use some of the sour cream in that cucumber salad. And just to let you know also, I will be using some spices, salt, pepper, oil, a little bit of butter, and some milk. Just that's the only real ingredients that I'm using from my fridge and pantry. This lemon pepper flavored rotisserie chicken, I'm gonna use this to make a lemon chicken and orzo soup. So for that, we're gonna use a little bit of the onion, this lemon, this kind of like orzo shaped pasta. The thing that they didn't have was I was gonna buy a small can of diced canned carrots for the orzo soup, but they didn't have those. So I went ahead and bought regular carrots or baby carrots instead, which will be fine. We're still around that $30 mark. And then with that, I'm going to make the biscuits with the soup. And this only, I believe, takes water. Yeah, only takes water, and then you just roll the biscuits out. And then the other meal that I'm gonna make are these ham steaks and then some cheesy potatoes. So basically I just combine these hash browns with cream of chicken soup, a little bit of melted butter, sour cream, grated cheddar cheese. You can actually put the ham in with the potatoes if you wanted to, but I think I'm gonna make it separate, and then we'll have the peas on the side. All right, so the first meal that we're gonna start out with is the ham, cheesy potatoes, and peas. So I've had this package of hash browns sitting out for most of the afternoon just to get thawed. I find that that really helps them cook through a lot better. I'm gonna use a foil pan just for easy cleanup. So I have sprayed this with cooking spray. You can also prep this casserole ahead of time and just stick it in the fridge until you're ready to bake it. I've got some melted butter that you'll need from your pantry. In this bowl right here, we're gonna use 1 cup of sour cream. I went ahead and shredded up all of the cheese. So we'll use most of that inside the casserole and then save like maybe half a cup for the top. I also cut up some green onions. This is optional. I had these in my fridge, so I'm gonna go ahead and use them. But if you don't have green onions on hand, you can either use from your spice cabinet onion powder, or you could also use some dried minced onion as well. And then we're gonna use the cream of chicken soup and salt and pepper. I should have used my larger bowl to begin with, but of course I do not think things through properly, so here we are. Okay, I'm gonna add my potatoes in there, and then go ahead and season these with salt and pepper. Not too much salt, because obviously the sauce that we're gonna pour over this is gonna have quite a bit of salt also. So let's pour that in. Okay, I'm gonna add in our green onions and cheese. And we'll go ahead and give this a stir. This makes a huge batch, so I would say, like, as a side, this is probably gonna serve at least 6 people, even more if you have little kids. Okay, so we'll add this to our prepared baking dish. Now, if you have some potato chips in your pantry, you can add those to the top for a little bit of a crispy top. You can also add cornflakes to the top, or you can just top it with the cheese and leave it as is. Okay, it's gonna go in the oven. I have my oven set to 400 degrees, probably about 30 to 40 minutes. We'll keep an eye on it. So obviously cooking the ham is very self-explanatory. You just heat it up in a skillet, or you could also bake it in the oven if you really wanted to. I threw the peas in the microwave. These cheesy potatoes turned out so good with the green onions in there. So if you have those on hand, I highly recommend adding them. But yeah, this was a delicious meal. Who doesn't love some ham and some cheesy potatoes down home? Super simple, and even the picky eaters in your house will love it. Guess what factor meal I'm having today? It is a butternut squash and sage chicken macaroni. Okay, I was a little unsure about this one, but you know, I love a good mac and cheese. I wasn't, the butternut squash is the part that I wasn't sure about, but there's not very much in there. It's mostly chicken, a little bit of macaroni, very herby, cheesy. I like getting the pasta meals from Factor because it's not a super huge portion of pasta, and they balance it with protein, so it's like perfect for lunch. It also comes with garlic green beans, and this one comes with a dessert. It is a apple cranberry crumble. Yum. I might put some whipped cream on that. I love using Factor because it makes my workday lunches so much better, and it is so much cheaper than eating out, I promise. You just pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So if you've never had a chance to try Factor before, you can click the link in the description box below. You can head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50CHAPIN. That's gonna give you 50% off, plus you're gonna get free shipping on your first box. That's code 50CHAPIN at factor75.com to get free shipping and half off your first box, so definitely take advantage of that. They have tons of options on their site for different meals also. I've gotten their juices, their smoothies, their breakfast, they're all delicious. Okay, so for our next meal tonight, I am going to make this lemon chicken orzo soup. So I've got my lemon pepper rotisserie chicken that we picked up at Walmart. If you have a lot of time on your hand, what you can do is take all of the meat on your hands, what is what I meant to say. You can take all of the meat off of this and then actually boil the carcass to make your stock. I don't have that kind of time tonight because it's already 5:30. But I did go ahead and pre-chop my carrots and onions, like I mentioned, so that makes it super quick. Even if you can only get a few things done ahead of time, still do that. I'm gonna go ahead and dump these into my pot. I've just got a pot going with a little bit of butter and olive oil. For this recipe, if you have garlic on hand, which I do, I'm gonna add a couple cloves of garlic crushed up. If you don't have that, just use garlic powder from your spice cabinet. And then we're also gonna make these buttermilk biscuits from Jiffy. We're gonna add the Orzo, and then I'm probably gonna add, oh yeah, I do have some bay leaves as well, so I'll probably add one of those too. And then since I only purchased the one lemon in this haul, I think what I'm gonna do is just take the rind off of it and add that to my soup so that I can pull it out later. So we're gonna get that lemon flavor, and then I'm gonna save the rest of the lemon, and we're gonna juice that for the cucumber salad that I'm gonna make for the next meal. While the veggies are sauteing, I'm gonna just go ahead and pull the meat off of this chicken. I probably, I don't know if I'm gonna end up using it all. We'll see how much we get here. I actually got one of these rotisserie chickens this past weekend, and once I had pulled all the meat off, I was using it to make chicken salad. Once I had pulled all of the meat off, I weighed it, and it came out to almost a pound. I think it was like 14 ounces or something like that. So for $4, you can get a good bit of meat, honestly. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my pasta, and I'm adding this before I add the broth because I want it to kind of toast up a little bit in the bottom of the pan in that butter before I add the broth. I'm gonna add probably about 8 cups of water. We'll see kind of how it looks. And if you have chicken stock in your pantry or freezer, you can totally use that, but I'm just using a combination of water and then this Knorr chicken bouillon that I always keep in my spice cabinet. So since I always keep that on hand, I just consider it one of my pantry ingredients, and I always recommend y'all do the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this to a boil. I will add my shredded chicken and then just simmer it for about 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, we're gonna make the biscuits. So 1 box of the Jiffy biscuit mix, 1/2 cup of water. All right, so the soup is done. I adjusted the seasoning. I did add like a little bit of dill, and it turned out really great. I added, you know, salt, pepper. So I'm just gonna let this cool while the biscuits finish cooking. This soup turned out so flavorful and so good. I always love a good chicken soup, and the combination of that little bit of dill and lemon in there was just perfection. I'm going to link the recipe I used as inspiration down below. The biscuits were a little bit disappointing, but I've never made these before, so next time I'll roll them thicker. For less than $10, this is going to be a really good meal, and it's going to have a big portion. So we're going to make this Zatarain's 1 pot red beans and rice. Saving time tonight because I already took the time earlier this week to chop up my onions and bell peppers. This is optional. You don't have to add it to this, but I find that it makes it a lot more flavorful, so I really like to. And then we're also going to add the andouille smoked sausage. I'm going to make some cornbread. And then I also chopped up my cucumbers and onions the other night. I'm going to show you how I make a super easy creamy cucumber salad. We're going to use the rest of the sour cream as well. This is one of my super old recipes that I scrapbooked. I probably did this like 20 years ago. Dilly cucumber salad. So it takes 1 cup of sour cream, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, sugar, salt, dill weed, and then cucumber and onion. I'm going to make the cucumber salad first because I want that to sit for a little bit while I'm cooking the rest of dinner. It's better if it can sit for like 30-ish minutes to an hour before you eat it. So I've got 1 cup of sour cream in here. This is the juice from that lemon I bought. I did have to cut this with like 1 tablespoon of white vinegar just to make sure I had the 1/4 cup. So I'm gonna add that. Okay, so we've got sour cream, lemon juice. I put 3 tablespoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, a little bit of pepper, half a teaspoon of dried dill. You just want to combine this before you add the cucumbers and the onions to make sure everything is whisked together smoothly. I'm gonna add the veggies, give this a stir. All right, I'm gonna pop this in the fridge till it's time to eat. Okay, so cornbread, we've got 1 egg, 1/3 cup of milk. I'm gonna go ahead and add the cornbread mix. I put a couple tablespoons of sugar in there because I like to make it a little bit sweeter. So I'm gonna mix this up, grab my baking dish. This meal, no shocker, was also a winner. Adam said this was the best 3 nights of dinner that I have made in a long time, so I'm sure you can tell what kind of cooking he likes. But if you haven't tried this Zatarain's mix yet, I highly recommend it. It's so fast and so flavorful. I'm gonna have the shopping list in the description box below if you want to copy that. And don't forget to check out Factor, because you would be crazy not to take that half off deal. You're basically getting free food, and you're gonna get these meals for like less than $5 or $6 each. Perfect for your work week. So thanks so much for watching. And if you want to see my latest weekend prep, what I cooked from scratch video, you can click on the screen right here.